Greetings once again, pirates on the high seas. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with a chapter of One Piece. And previously, the message that Vegapunk has been sending across the world has continued onward, with the five elders desperately trying to hunt down the transponder snail that is sending out this signal, but to no avail. Vegapunk was thorough in making as many dummy signals as he possibly could. All the while, Vegapunk reveals details about the Void Century, about how the first 20 kingdoms created a temporary alliance, all for the purpose of taking on Joy Boy and his faction. And ultimately, as we know, Joy Boy was defeated. But this great war caused irrevocable damage to the world, causing the sea levels to rise 200 meters, utterly unprecedented in any frame of mind. Before all that, the world was a mass of various continents all across the globe, but now, the islands that you see in today's One Piece world. And what was to blame? Why, the ancient weapons, of course. However, the real cherry on top is the fact that Vegapunk says that the ancient war has not ended. In fact, it rages on till today, leading more and more evidence to the idea that Eam, as well as potentially the elders, might be much older than they seem. We got to see the reactions of various people all across the One Piece world, from the likes of the impersonator the Malio Black, to the Foxy Pirate, to the former Brokeworks agent. And naturally, this did not put a pause on the goings-on Egghead. A fading Edison implores Stussy to live for herself now that Vegapunk has passed on. All the while, in the same labophage, Mars and Saturn used their Conqueror's Haki to knock out many Dendenmushi. And during his battle to take down Bonnie, Nushjuro gets a little teed off at the fact that this is taking so long, and slices the lower part of the labophage off, causing the Seraphim and the Cypherpole agents that were in the basement of the labophage to go plummeting to the island below. The Seraphim are still in their bubbles, but should they be freed, that's yet another factor that adds to the five elders' great power. If the Great War was as tumultuous as everything going on in Egghead, it's no wonder that the entire world sunk to the waves below. But does that mean that Egghead will also be sunk? And will our newest version of Joy Boy Luffy also lose the fight? Join me as I find out, won't you? At One Piece chapter 1116, Inner Conflict. And once again, see, now this depicts the sheer height that is Yamato, cause god damn! Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest, Surrogate Pilgrimage Volume 6. Otsuru gave me medicine and dumplings. Aww. We can see the burn marks on Otsuru's face. It's a bit of a bitter thing, but she's kind of wearing her scars with pride, all things considered. And we see the sumo is, I guess, mellowed out nowadays. And Some isn't back there too. It's good to see her. Alright, let's jump into the lore. And it looks like the people of Alabasta are listening to Vegapunk's message. Kinda looks like Alabasta, it might not be. But the people say, the weapons that sank the world into the sea are still lurking around somewhere? There's a figure in the crowd. It kind of makes me think of Koza. The war from 800 years ago is still ongoing? Where? How could any of them still be alive? How can this war still be ongoing if no one knows about it? Explain, Vegapunk. And so we see Eam walking through this hall filled with flowers up to a poster of Nefeltari D. Lily? Oh god, he was in love with Lily. There was a lot of theories about this and I wasn't sure. Did Lily seduce Eam? I wonder. We then cut to the capital city of Alabasta, where we see Igaram and Karoo with tears in their eyes as Igaram is organizing missing posters for Vivi, while we see in a tomb, Pell and Chaka seem to be holding a funeral procession, or just a mourning session for Cobra, as Vegapunk's message plays saying, "Sadly, I owe you all my deepest apologies, but I need you to understand why. I wanted to create energy that would power the industry of the world to come, and though it is still incomplete, okay, so the mother flame's still incomplete, I have at last reached a practical stage of my life's work. The mother flame, a fire that never goes out. It is an energy source that will one day in the future enrich the lives of people all over the world. And you see the people starting to perk up. You see the mother flame still in its container. As Vegapunk says, unfortunately, one little piece of that flame has been stolen. The fault of this lies entirely with me. Oh, I think he means York. Meanwhile, the Marines, still on the ships outside of Egghead, say, Cypherpole's in the center of the island? The flames are too intense. We can't get there. Stussy radios into Edison asking, there's some major shaking going on up here. What happened, Edison? Edison cracks open the door to the Sky Cloud production plant as he sees the Cypherpole agents as well as the still bubbled Seraphim, who's seen to be unconscious too. Edison says, I'm kind of stunned too. This is crazy. The basement lab of the Libophage and the Cypherpole agents fell down here, and now I can't send more island clouds up to the Straw Hats. Oh, right, the extension, I forgot about that. Sissy says, fell down? What do you mean fell down? Edison, sitting down and still smoking from the damage, says one of those crazy 5 elders is heading your way. Please, Stussy, you gotta run. Stussy contemplates this for a moment, and I mean contemplates it deep. She then says, may I free Kaku, Edison? Kaku says, huh? Stussy says, they might be punished for their actions. I won't let him go after the Straw Hat, and I know the first thing he'll do if he's released, probably go after Lucci. Edison takes a moment, then says, I get it, Stussy. I'm sorry for putting you through this. He was a friend, wasn't he? I'm sorry for making you betray that friendship. Oh, wow, really? I didn't know it was that deep. And Kaku's just silently listening to this with there's like a wave of emotions running through Kaku's face as Edison tells Stussy, but you still went ahead and saved us. I knew you wish you could have been true to both. That kind of inner conflict is a calling card of humanity, Stussy. Follow your heart and do whatever it takes to survive. The tears in her eyes, Stussy says, I will. Oh, God. If the relationship between Stussy and the others were that deep, maybe that's why they didn't really go at her that hard. They were friends. Huh. See, now I'm curious about this relationship between Stussy and Cypherpole. Or is it just Kaku specifically? I'm really curious about what's going to happen to Stussy in the future. We then cut to the Kamabaka Queendom, where we see Moda from that island that doesn't exist, as well as the vice commanders of the Revolutionary Army listening in intensely. Vegapunk says, around 2 weeks after the theft of the flame, the sky over Leloucia shone with a powerful light. Moda perks up at this, saying, Leloucia? Vegapunk's message continues saying, and the kingdom vanished without a trace according to the report. After that was when I observed the first signs of worldwide earthquake. As a scientist, and with utmost pride in its development, I can tell you this. Nothing but the Mother Flame could have created so much energy. We see Vice Admiral Comiel, who runs the G2 base that Moda would deliver the milk to because her parents worked there. It was milk for their coffee. Comiel questions, that was an ancient weapon? And Moda starts to tear up saying, you mean someone did that to Leloucia? We then cut to the Prudence Kingdom, where King Elizabethio II questions, Leloucia is gone? The soldier says, not to my knowledge, Majesty. Elizabello says, well, go find out. And Dograma says, yes, sir. Vegapunk's message continues saying, the flame that I created was used to activate an ancient weapon. Oh, Vegapunk then bows deeply, saying, I know nothing about who might have carried this out, but the results speak for themselves. My actions have led directly or indirectly to the loss of many human lives, a fact that weighs most deeply upon my soul. I am so sorry. I have inadvertently proven that the man-made disaster that once sank the world is possible again. We then cut to Karakuri Island, where I think Hiton's grandfather is the one who says, no, Vegapunk, it's not your fault. Meanwhile, in Wano, Momonosuke perks up, saying, what? Does that mean Pluton is? Well, Kinemon says, shh, "Hush, Lord Momonosuke." And Otama, eating her dongos, just looks at them, questioning things. Meanwhile, Crocodile is listening very intently to this message, as Vegapunk's message continues on saying, "In the past, there were 3 ancient weapons, and Joy Boy attempted to preserve them for the future. Why would he do that for such dangerous things? Have we not sunk far enough? Who is the true evil here? And who fights the good fight?" We cut to the Ryugu Kingdom on Fishman Island, where Shirahoshi is now listening intently as well. Vegapunk's message says, "The day will come when all of the answers are laid bare, and I warn you, that moment will happen when we reach the very precipice of the world's drowning." We cut to a marine ship where Sengoku is downing some crackers like nobody's business, and Tsuru says, "You're gonna choke yourself, you old fool." Vegapunk's message continues on and reaches the marine headquarters, as Vegapunk's message says, "The Void Sentry is still ripe with mystery. However, there are some who have learned the truth." And at marine headquarters, he's just boiling with rage, as Sakazuki says, "You're really gonna tell them everything, Vegapunk." And Vegapunk reveals that it was the king of the pirates crew. We learn the history of the world, the truth of the world. The Marines are shocked, saying, "What?" And Crocus is just listening intently, while the Marines are freaking out, saying, "Pirates? Why?" We then cut to the homeland of the Three-Armed Tribe, who shout, "Why are the secrets of the world in the hand of pirate? We're all in terrible danger." We even see the Long-Armed Tribe, I said Three-Armed Tribe, the Long-Armed Tribesmen who captured Brook all that time ago. Meanwhile, Yorick, hearing this, says, "Hey, wait, that doesn't make sense, Stella. How did you know that I stole the Mother Flame from you? I stopped synchronizing. You couldn't have known, and I know you're terrible at lying and acting. You were truly shocked when you found out." She remembers Vegapunk's words when she revealed herself. "York, this was all your doing?" York says, "You received the information about Leloucia and then observed the data. What does that mean? When? The timeline doesn't add up. Did you know about the government's response?" "Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. How did he receive this data? Who gave this data to him? Why would he have known to monitor? How did he monitor? To have made a message like this, he would have had to have known one of the satellites was up to something." York says, "But if that's the case, I've been wrong all along. He wouldn't do anything as tepid as just hiding the transmission transponder stale." And then we see Saint Shepherd Jupiter in his sandworm form inhaling the Cypherpole agents. Is he getting them out of there, or is he just eating them? York then radios in, "Five Elders, I know where the transponder snail is." He catches the attention of St. J. Garcia Saturn, Marcus Mars, and Ethan Baron Venus Juro. Marcus Mars questions, "You're certain?" York says, "Absolutely, I'm a Vegapunk too, you know." The transmission transponder snail is under the protection of the Iron Giant in the Fabriophage, which a lot of people guess, as the Iron Giant is being bombarded by the Marines who are saying, "Nothing's working on it." A lot of people started to put that together because they remember that Vegapunk, for some reason, just up and teleported in and halfway out of the Iron Giant, and it's just like, oh, that was weird. He was hiding the transponder snail. I've heard that theory so much, and it made a lot of sense. I'm like, I don't even know who to give props to about that, because it's just like, I've heard it from so many different sources and so many different people. And you just see the Iron Giant marching along Egghead, and Vegapunk's message continues on saying, "When they learned all of the true history, why did they drift apart without telling anyone? Why didn't they act on it?" We then cut to Saboti and Shaki's ripoff bar, where Shaki seems to have beaten up some pirates, or did Rayleigh? Shaki is dragging someone along as Rayleigh's just, clinking his glass at the bar. As Shaki says, "Hey Ray, you've had too much to drink. It's not like you to be this wiped out." Rayleigh says, "I'm just an old man now. You're telling them too much, Vegapunk. Don't be a fool. Us old folks should keep our secret. Don't rob the youngins of all the fun. Right, Roger?" And honestly, Vegapunk is kind of giving away all the secrets. He just keeps going. I'm like, okay, are we gonna leave anything left? Because, if all of this is being revealed now, it's making me wonder, okay, what other secrets are about to be revealed? Like, once we get to the end of things, cause man. But the thing is, it's all stuff that has been kind of guessed already because we've had all the clues. And there's been theories that maybe Eam was in love with Nefertari D. Lily, and that giant portrait kind of makes me think maybe. And now this explanation about the mother flame, and the thing is, that weapon has to be Uranus. It has to be. I wonder if it's like a UFO-like object, because we don't see too many flying machines up in the sky, and it has something that with the capacity to wipe out an entire city, an entire country, I should say. But Vegapunk knew that the mother flame had been stolen. I mean, it's obvious he had inkling as if something was going on, because we had that moment where Shaka is just like, Dragon, I think I'm gonna die soon. And sure enough. But is it that he wanted to atone? Did he know one of his satellites was up to something? Or did he think it was one of his assistants? And it's a good question. What was Joy Boy waiting for? Because it continues to make me wonder, are the ancient weapons all actually weapons? Because the only one that doesn't feel like it's an out-and-out weapon is Poseidon, Shirahoshi. Now, she just has an ability that's passed on and skips generation. But with what we've seen of what Uranus could do, to wipe out an entire country, and the fact that Pluton is referred to as this great battleship, that's the question I have. Or is it something like, it was all, I remember a theory that they were all ships based. For Poseidon, it was about getting the Sea Kings to pull the Noah, and that was a ship, and it makes sense why the Noah is where it's at, because maybe it was originally on land, but as the world sunk, it ended up under the waves and stuff. Pluton, the great battleship, maybe though its whole thing was breaking free of the walls surrounding Wano, and maybe Uranus was not meant to be a weapon, but a ship that could transport the people of the sky down from the White Sea. Maybe they were all meant for forms of transportation and to get through certain conditions, only for it to be like, well, these can be used as weapons of war. And that was not their intention, kind of like with Frankie and his battleship. And dang, I didn't even think about when even Baron Venusdrill cut the Labo phase. That would mean what Edison's plan of extending things would be stopped. How far did it get? Would they be able to drop into the sea, or would they be too short? Dang. Inadvertently, Ethan managed to, cut off the Straw Hat's escape. And does Stussy only want to save Kaku, or Kaku and rob Lucci? But the thing is, Lucci wanted to save Kaku, Stussy wants to save Kaku. I didn't actually expect this deep bond of camaraderie amongst them, because we know that Lucci and Kaku have a bond. All the guys from CP9 had a bond. You saw that in the cover page where they were so desperate to save Lucci. But it's weird that Stussy is a part of that. Why? I mean, how long have the former CP9 agents been a part of CP0? What bond do they have? Or is Stussy maybe in love with Kaku? I'm so curious. And it's wild because Stussy was so willing to betray them for Vegapunk, but now she wants to go back to them in some degree? Then what happens to Stussy? And is Jupiter saving those Cypher Pole agents? Or is he eliminating them? And the reveal that Nemushi is inside the Iron Giant is like, oh, that makes so much sense. If you think back to when we first met Vegapunk, he's doing some weird stuff. It's like, no, there was a purpose behind that. Why was he warping seemingly inside of the Iron Giant? It's like, oh, putting in something that's pretty much otherwise impenetrable. And at the very least, it would take a long time to be able to destroy it. I kind of feel bad for the Iron Giant. It kind of became an unwitting pawn in Vegapunk's machination. A lot going on here. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also remember to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.